You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, the Giants fall to the Miami Marlins. Final score tonight at Oracle Park, 4-3. Mason Black got the start for the Giants, and he pitched great in his return from AAA. He spun 5 innings while striking out 6 and walking none, but also gave up 2 runs on a home run before exiting. But really, the looming large call from tonight, the bad call at second base in the 7th inning, Giants got hosed big time by the officiating crew tonight at Oracle Park. But it's not like the Giants didn't have chances to take matters into their own hands and win this game. But again, just one hit with runners in scoring position dooms this offense to another night of mediocrity and another Giants loss. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're getting the show, we appreciate you tuning in, making us your first listen. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants daily show for more in-depth coverage for your second listen. Ben Kaspick does a great job breaking down all the news and numbers you need. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And the Giants, as I said, had multiple opportunities to score runs in this one. It wasn't just like they just had this one chance and they ruined it. No, they had chances all night long and just spoiled them, every single one. So bottom one, right away, Mark Canha draws a walk, steals second, throw goes into center field and advances to third base with just one out. The Marlins are practically gifting the Giants a run here. Didn't need a hit and you got a runner standing on third with nobody out. The Giants can't score him. Ramos pops out. Chapman walks. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. Conforto comes up and pops out to third base. You got to come up with a hit in this situation. You have Elliot Ramos up with 1 out and a runner at third. You need this guy to be able to get that run home. This is a guy who you're counting on in the future to be one of the staple points in your offense. He's got to be able to come up with hits in these situations. I know he's young. I know that he's going to improve and get better as time goes on. But man, am I tired of seeing every single night this Giants team fail in these situational at-bats. Then in the top of the second inning, Will Clark came into the booth and addressed just this specific point with Kruk and Kipe. He talked about how he's been giving pointers to the hitters with runners in scoring position. Talked about looking for specific pitches to hit in these specific situations and what you should be trying to do with them. And right as he's talking about this in the middle of this Giants disappointment inning, he was also up there talking about some of the work that they did last night with the autism awareness event that they had out at Oracle Park. We did not have a show last night, just so you guys know. I do some work with Stanford football in the fall when college football comes back around. So I work in their radio booth as a producer, and I yesterday was the home opener, so I had to be out there supporting the Stanford Cardinal, even though I'm a Cal Poly guy. Kind of weird. And then that creates the weirdest crossover of my life of Stanford football playing Cal Poly football next week. Wild stuff in the life of Triple E. But that's why we didn't have a show yesterday. Will Clark had his autism awareness event yesterday, though, and was in the booth today talking about the Giants really being terrible in these situational at bats. Also talked about how many times he got hit while he was playing in the pros. And that was pretty funny. And they had a funny stat. If he had been plunked like more than 50 times, only rubbed it once. That Will Clark is like the ultimate dude's dude. Absolutely the definition of rub some dirt in it. The fight with Ozzie Smith, another wild Cal Poly crossover in my life between the Giants and probably the best baseball player to ever come out of my alma mater. So just some all sorts of particles flying around in my life today recently, but didn't result in a Giants win, unfortunately, because later in that same inning with Will Clark on the broadcast, Griffin Conine, who, if that name sounds familiar to you, it should, son of Jeff Conine, Mr. Marlin himself. Griffin smashes his first career big league home run, gives the Marlins a 2-0 lead, and it was on a high fastball that Conine doinked off the foul pole in right field. That thing was headed for the water if that foul pole didn't get in the way. First big league home run for Conine, and he almost put it out there in the bay in McCovey Cove. Huge moment for the young Marlin. We wish we got some more huge moments for young Giants today that I could offer you as something to get excited about. But if you're looking for one of those, it's Mason Black. He made his first appearance for the Giants big league squad since May, and he kind of came up out of necessity earlier in the season. He pitched okay in the beginning, but it seemed like the longer that he was up with the bigs, the more the book got out on him, and the worse that he was, the more he was getting touched up. Ended up coming into tonight, his ERA was, very, very, very high, 8.79, 0-1 ERA. So that kind of gives you an indication of where he was at when the Giants sent him back down to AAA. However, tonight, as I said at the top of the show, Mason Black pitched really well, man. 5 innings, only gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. Both of them came on that one swing of the bat on that one mistake pitch that he threw to Conine. But you take that away, this is a great evening. Even with that, it's a great evening for Mason Black. Only gives up 2 runs, gives the Giants an opportunity to win this game. Walked 0, donut, goose egg, and you love to see that from a rookie pitcher. 6 strikeouts for Mason Black. He threw 74 pitches, 58 strikes. So he's filling up the zone, something that we have not seen from a lot of these other young Giants pitchers. This is the big difference that we saw from Mason Black tonight versus what we've been seeing from guys like Kyle Harrison and Hayden Birdsong lately. We saw a guy who was not afraid to go up there and pump strikes into the strike zone, wasn't trying to strike everybody out, but generated a lot of those strikes. And the way that Mason Black was doing this was by, he was painting. He was up there like Da Vinci, just painting a picture, painting those corners. Dude had so many called strikes tonight. 21 different called strikes. You pair that with his 9 whiffs. He had 30 called strikes plus whiffs. That's good for a 41% called strike plus whiff percentage. That is awesome. You would like to see some more swing and miss stuff. It was right at about 24%, right at about what you would expect from a guy of his caliber, a young guy who can avoid some bats in the strike zone and make you miss, make you chase outside of the strike zone as well. But he did a really, really, really good job today of hitting those corners. So Mason Black using that pinpoint accuracy to get it done tonight, and he kept that pitch count low. As I said, just 74 pitches. But with a young kid like this who's just making his comeback into the bigs, and with the way that he kind of fizzled out earlier this season, you take that, you let him, stash that in the memory bank of this was a great outing. Let him build on that for next time. This was good to see from Mason Black, another very, very young pitcher in this Giant system. I believe he's the number 3 pitching prospect in the system. I think he's 8th overall in the Giants farm. So, I like to see this from Mason Black, and it was good to see him bounce back. We'll go over his journey through from when he got demoted through AAA and back to the major leagues a little bit later on in the show. But let's keep rolling with this game because the Giants did make a game out of this. In bottom 5, Encarnacion singles for his second hit of the day, and Brett Wisely, who we haven't really seen a ton of Brett Wisely lately. We saw him briefly last night, doubles to right field, and the Giants then have second base and third base with just 1 out. A great opportunity to start a rally. 1 swing of the bat can get 2 runs in, but Giants can't get it done. Yaz hits a chopper back up the middle, gets over the pitcher's head, big bounding slow roller, and it allows Encarnacion to score from third base. So that was a great productive out, but it gives the Giants 2 outs, allows the runner to move to third base, and Canna has a chance to drive the tying run in, but cannot do it. Giants go back out into the field. That was also, as I said, the bottom of the 5th. So that was when Mason Black was pulled from the game for left-hander Taylor Rogers, not as left-hander over top delivery, not right-hander submarine delivery. And he did not pitch very well today. He gave up a solo home run to the first guy he faced. 3-1 Marlins get that run immediately back and all of the momentum. Then he gives up a single to Sanchez. And Bo Mel, I have to give him some credit. We've been ripping him for not having a pulse on this bullpen. Today seemed like Bo Mel was actually awake in that dugout and called immediately after this second hard hit ball that Rogers gave up, second at bat where he just didn't really look like he had it tonight. Got someone going up in the pen right away. Got Spencer Bivens. I think he actually had Camilo Doval get up first, and then he had Bivens get up there. But got a ground out for the first out of the inning. Gave up another base hit. So after those 3 hits and only able to get one out in those 4 batters he faced, he gets yanked for Spencer Bivens. Bivens promptly gets a ground ball double play to end the inning. Giants then get another run back in the bottom of the 6th. Chapman reaches on Eric Conforto, then singles to put runners at the corners with just 1 out. As I said, a lot of opportunities like this for the Giants in this one. Fitzgerald then comes up and slaps a single. Matt Chapman scores, but the Marlins are still leading 3-2, but it does chase Cabrera, the starter, from the game. They made him throw a bunch of pitches, and they did get the starter out before the end of the 7th inning, or before the end of the 6th inning, rather. And that is a good sign for the Giants. You would like to see them do more of this and make pitchers work, make these starting pitchers work that have had way too easy, of a time just cruising into late innings. And I mean, the Giants have not been very good lately at getting to starting pitchers. Then Bailey flies out to left, though, and Encarnacion pops out to end the inning after that Tyler Fitzgerald scored or single, which put runners at first and second and scored Matt Chapman. So the Giants still had runners in scoring position for the rest of that inning, did not get another run. That is an inning where you need to see more than just 1 run score. If you get that hit and you put runners, you score the runner from third, you put another runner at second, another hit keeps the cycle just rolling and keeps the carousel spinning. And the Giants just can't do that this year. They are incapable of producing rallies right now, just allergic to base hits. It all comes via the home run. And this is the downfall of a team who is built to just hit home runs, is you can't string hits together. And when the balls aren't flying out, especially on a cool night at Oracle Park like this, it's frustrating. It makes life really hard when you don't have anybody who can just come up and get a base knock. It makes you miss guys like Jung-Hoo Lee a lot. Guys who can do the little things like lay down bunts, slap singles, just make sure that you put the ball in play when you need to put the ball in play. The Giants have so few guys that can do that on this team right now. So the Giants did cut that lead to 3-2. And then the big moment in the top of the 7th, the Marlins leadoff batter draws a walk. He then steals second base, looked out on the play, looked out on the tag, but the umpire rules that Tyler Fitzgerald was blocking the base when he clearly was not. And they chose not to review the play. Mike Krukow said it was a reviewable play, and they just chose not to do it. I mean, just what the hell? An absolutely terrible call. Bailey was flabbergasted. I mean, Spencer Bivens was pissed. Have you ever seen Spencer Bivens look mad in a game? I have not. Bob Melvin was mad. Pat Bailey was mad. I mean, everybody was mad. I'm mad. I mean, I know how bad this team is. It's not like I have any illusions that if they won this game that they were going to go on a run or whatever and like make the playoffs. But like, man, Giants just can't catch a break, dude. Like, I want this team to be good so bad. And this wasn't like the moment that like ruined the game for it, but this run ended up being the one difference because this guy who was called safe at second, who should have been out, Pat Bailey made an awesome throw. Should have been, I mean, gone, done. Grab some pine meat. I mean, I know Krukow uses that for the strikeouts, but come on, man. This guy should have been sitting his butt on that bench, not standing out there at second base after that. And then a Conine productive ground out ends up scoring him from third base. He should not have been there. Before Conine, there was a ground ball to the right side of the field that moved the runner over to third base with just 1 out. And then Conine grounds out to score the runner from third, who shouldn't have even been there. They didn't get a hit in that inning, and they scored that run. Got on base via walk, and then he gets a fugazi steal of second, and then you get 2 ground balls that end up scoring this guy. There was no hit in this process. That run should not have scored. That dude shouldn't have even been standing in scoring position. I mean, as I said, everybody was mad. Like Spencer Bivens was barking at the home plate ump as he's walking off the field, and it was just a bad look all around. Like the home plate ump just looked like he was kind of like he just kept signaling safe over and over again, and like telling Bob Melvin like, oh no, we're not going to review it. He's safe. It just with his hands, and it was just really weird, a really weird visual. Looked frantic and looked like he knew what he was doing was like not the right call. Like looked like they were just trying to move on and keep the game going because they didn't want to address the fact that they just screwed that up. And ends up being a run for the Marlins. 4-2 Marlins lead in the top of the eighth. Eric Miller had a really dominant inning. I just wanted to slip that in there. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts. Great to see one of these rookies for the Giants, one of these rookie pitchers battling through that the innings monster. I mean, he's thrown probably, I haven't looked this up, but I'm assuming this is probably the most that Eric Miller has thrown in a single season. I mean, he's been up since the start, never pitched above AA before this year. And for this guy to be dominating innings the way that he dominated this one today on the last day of August, I think that's a very good sign going forward. Right now, that's all we're really looking for with this Giants team is good signs from the young guys to build on for next year. Then in bottom 8, Giants, while they were still trailing 4-2, Michael Conforto smashes a solo home run, shrinks the Marlins lead to just 1 run. With that dumb, terrible call in the top of the 7th, looming large. It was Conforto's 15th of the season, and it was the first pitch swinging 96-mile-an-hour fastball right down Main Street, and he blasted it. 112.8 miles an hour, 418 feet, cleared the fence out there in Triples Alley. I mean, you crushed one if you clear the fence out there in Triples Alley. So that was not a cheapie by any means. And Michael Conforto's been pretty solid recently for the Giants. It's just too little too late, man. I needed this from you in July and June and not just in May and August. I mean, it's nice that he's coming around, but again, too little, too late. You want to see that home run number up around like 23, 24, hopefully not down around 15. Like for a guy who's supposed to be a big power bat in the middle of the lineup, he sure hasn't played like it for the majority of his time with the Giants. He's battled a lot of injuries, and I know this. But it was great to see him come around towards the end of this season for the Giants. I don't anticipate he will be back next year. Then we see in the top of the 9th, Camilo Doval in the 9th inning. Granted, it was a non-save situation, but it's the first time that we've seen him in the 9th since he was sent down to AAA, I believe, unless I missed something. But I don't think we've seen Doval in the 9th inning since he was sent back down to AAA. And this is the best inning I have seen from Camilo in a long time. Dude did not give up any walks, did not look like he was struggling to command anything up there, and had it all working. That slider, nasty. That cutter, nasty. That four-seamer or the sinker, nasty. I mean, Doval was just throwing gas, had great location, and just so much bite on every single one of these pitches today. Struck out the first guy, got a very, very, very weak grounder off a ferocious slider to that second batter, and struck out the last batter on just 3 pitches. And virtually none of the swings that we saw from the Marlins hitters in that inning were any good. So Doval looked like Doval again, and that made me happy. And that was, just something. They didn't do anything for the Giants other than give them a shot in the 9th to come back and tie, which they did not do. Pat Bailey did give one a ride out to deep center near the warning track, but wasn't deep enough. And Giants lose. But it was nice to see Camilo Doval back in the 9th, at least pitching somewhat well. Ryan Walker gets the day off today. I mean, we know that guy deserves a few days off with how much he's pitched this season. So Giants lose 4-3, and that huge missed call in the 7th inning that just gave the Marlins a free run looms large. We're going to take a quick break here on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. I'm an active guy. In the summertime, I'm always on the go, going on hikes, making trips out to the beautiful California coast, going to Giants games, concerts. I'm outside and on the go all the time. And Liquid IV keeps me hydrated through it all. Liquid IV is more than just a drink. It's a science-backed way to hydrate better. Tear Pour and Live More 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than just water alone. Powered by LIV Hydroscience, TM, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So, no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today the Giants lose 4-3 out at Oracle Park to, the very mid Miami Marlins, just their 50th win this season. If you think this Giants season has been bad, the Marlins have 18 less wins than the Giants, yet the Giants still found a way to lose to the Fish today. Gabe Kapler's Fish of all teams to lose to. So this just feels extra bad. You're losing games to the Marlins at home on the last day of August, and this team is how many games? 36 games under 500, and you're losing these types of games to this team. And all you really needed was one extra hit in these situations, but you couldn't get it to pick up Mason Black, who had an absolutely awesome return back from AAA, and it's spoiled by this lack of offense from the Giants, by this terrible call in the 7th inning. You can't blame the loss entirely on the officiating crew, although it's impossible to not acknowledge that this play directly affected the outcome of this game. Yes, the Giants had plenty of opportunities to take matters into their own hands. All you needed was a couple more, maybe just one extra, just one extra base hit in one of these bases, multiple runners in scoring position situations would have really made a difference in this game. The Giants were able to score a run in that first inning situation that they had. Could have made a huge difference. So many situations that the Giants could have really taken control of this game and won. But that's what good teams do, and we know the Giants just frankly aren't that good. Mason Black was pretty damn good today on the mound. However, as I said before, he went 5 strong innings, only gave up 2 runs on that one swing of the bat, that Conine home run. Gave up 4 hits in total. What I really liked from him today, though, was 0 walks and 6 strikeouts. This guy just showing that he's got the command, and that was kind of something that he wasn't super on top of earlier this season when he was up with the Giants. He's made 4 starts prior to this one for the Giants this season, and he's only got 1 other game where he did not issue a walk. And he also didn't pitch super well in that game because he gave up 6 hits. So this was a really good sign, I think, from Mason Black. He came out, put it all together, and he hadn't really done that in any of his prior starts. This is also the longest start that he's had at the professional level. This is also the most strikeouts that he's had in any single game at the professional level. So this was a great start from Mason Black today, and it was kind of a rocky road for him to get back here. After he got sent back down to AAA at the very end of May, he made a start on May 28th there, and that didn't go so well. It only lasted 2.2 innings. Mason Black did not pitch more than 5 innings in a game until the end of the next month, until the end of June down there in AAA. It took 3 losses in between those times. So he had a rough time getting back to form. But after that game, seemed like he started to turn a corner, started pitching a lot better. And in the month of August, he actually was, pretty lights out. Mason Black, in the month of August, he had a 2.91 ERA in 4 starts at the AAA level. It's his best month since he was optioned back down on May 23rd. And it was great. He prior to that stretch, he had a 8.25 ERA over 33 innings or 36 innings of work, 33 earned runs, with only 1 quality start over his 10 previous outings from May until July, May 28th until July 26th. So it was tumultuous. This guy had to battle and scratch and claw his way back to the big league club. The Giants weren't just going to give him another shot. if he didn't look right down in AAA. It looks like he's figured out whatever was going on down there, and he corrected it. He righted the ship because it played up here. And yeah, I do know it's the Marlins, and they have their payroll after the trade deadline is like $15 million or something like that. Like like you couldn't even afford I mean, I've seen comparisons between like Steph Curry's 1-year extension value and like the Oakland A's roster, and it's like almost the same number. You couldn't even get just one Steph Curry out there if you're the Marlins with the current roster you got. Couldn't even afford that one dude. I mean, this is just wild to me that they're spending this little money on a professional team like that. That just blows my mind. But I get that it was against the Marlins, point being they're a very mid team that is just, a dumpster fire right now. But it's still a pro team, and Mason Black still shoved today. So I'm excited about that. His last time out down in AAA, he pitched 5.2 innings of one hit ball down in Tacoma against the Rainiers. It was out on August 20th, but he did take the loss, unfortunately, in that one. Similar to this, he gets the loss today, only gave up 2 runs. Sacramento was shut out in that game against the Rainiers, 2-0. He also walked 4, struck out 3, but he threw 90 pitches. And again, I think it's a great sign that Mason Black threw 74 pitches with 58 strikes, located his pitches super well today, 21 called strikes, and did a great job just filling up the zone. I mean, here it is, hit it if you can. And I mean, he's a guy who's clearly not afraid to pitch to some contact. And I really like this. He had 3 ground outs, 4 flyouts. So hopefully that flyout number comes down a little bit, but he does like to try and climb that ladder with that fastball and get some strikeouts. And I don't blame him. He's got some life to that fastball, some giddy up to it. So Mason Black, I think, did a great job today. And that's something that the Giants can build on for the future, because who knows what this pitching staff is going to look like next year. Is Blake Snell going to come back with the Giants? Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, my guess is no, honestly. I don't see why he would. But I mean, he pitched out of his mind in the second half of the season. The team just laid down and died. That's a guy who's wants to be in the playoffs, wants to be pitching in October, Cy Young winner, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. I think that guy wants to play in October. I don't think he wants to be sitting on his couch with the rest of the San Francisco Giants. So we'll see what happens with Blake Snell in the offseason, but you're going to need some contingency plans. And Mason Black looks like a pretty nice contingency plan right now for the Giants. And I'm still waiting to see the Carson Whisenhunt appearance this year. I really hope that we would see him at some point this season. We're running out of days. It's the last day of August. We have 1 month left in this MLB season, at least in this San Francisco Giants season, because we all know this team is not playing in October. So maybe we'll get a Whisenhunt start sometime in this last month. But for today, Mason Black, put a big check mark next to that whiteboard, next to the quality start box. And great job limiting walks, racking up some strikeouts, and just filling up the zone with strikes, something that all these other young Giants pitchers have really struggled to do. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, got to put a bow on this show, wrap up this game. Few last minute notes from this one. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. And this show is also sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, it's just on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $100. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going to go off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real life money all season long on PrizePicks. Preseason football is underway, but you can also pick more or less on 2024 season-long stats on PrizePicks before the regular season starts. It's right around the corner, so make sure you get these picks in soon. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, then get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's Locked On MLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants fall to the Miami Marlins, to Gabe Kapler's Miami Marlins, 4-3. And man, I know we talked about it earlier, but I'm still just, festering over that missed call at second base. And it wasn't even a missed call. It was like it wasn't something he had to call. He just like conjured it up in his brain. And he just decided to say, yeah, Tyler Fitzgerald's blocking this base with his single foot that's off to the side of the bag. Like, what the hell? I'm pretty sure you're allowed to straddle the bag. And Fitz, like, he gave the runner a clear path. His foot was in front of the bag in between first and second initially. And then he moved out of the way once the throw was coming in. Once the throw was in the air, he repositioned himself, gave the runner a clear lane to slide in, and they still called him safe, still called obstruction on the play. And we didn't get any kind of explanation. We didn't get a replay review. I need to double check. I know Kruko said it was reviewable, but you know where Mike and Dwayne are in their careers. I mean, maybe this was I got to double check. I want to make sure that Mike's right when he says that this was a reviewable play and that they just chose not to. But man, it is incredibly frustrating to have this team not only just shooting themselves in the foot constantly with failing to come up with hits in big clutch situations, but now you got the ump helping in. Like the Giants sat there with the holes all in the foot, going, oh man, like my foot hurts. I just shot it a bunch of times. And then the ump came over and said, let me look at that, and just stomped on it. And that's what it felt like today. So the Giants, they lose today 4-3 by that one run being the difference. It could have gone very, very differently for the Giants today if that play had just been accurately called. It was out. That runner was out at second base. He did not successfully steal. Tyler Fitzgerald was not blocking the bag. The tag got down in time. Ortiz should have been out on the play. There was no hit recorded in that inning. No run should have scored. And that's the difference. Giants lose 4-3. And again, one-run games that the Giants lose. Bob Melvin not doing great in these one-run games. I'm not going to pin this one on him because there wasn't really much mismanagement of the bullpen or anything like that he did. He didn't really leave anyone hung out there too long. I mean, he did what he could, but the Giants just couldn't get it done. Ultimately, Bob Melvin's not the one standing in the batter's box with runners in scoring position and not collecting hits. The Giants need to figure out how to hit situationally. I would say if they have any hope of making the playoffs, but that hope's gone. I'm doing the show. I didn't even look up how far back the Giants are in the wild card race. I think it's 7.5, but I mean, who cares if it's more than 7? Like, you're going to win a week of games while another 2-3 teams lose a whole week of games. Yeah, no, that's not happening. So, I mean, we can more or less pack it in, at least mentally, for this Giants team this year. You're losing games to the Miami Marlins in the last day of August. I mean, the Giants need to win tomorrow to win this series, and that's not where you want to be sitting against a team that is 50-86. It's just not where you want to be. It's just not where you want to be. With the loss, the Giants also fall back to below 500. They're now 68-69 on the season. I would say nice, but that's not very nice right now. I mean, maybe if they win tomorrow, they can be 69-69. That can be double nice. Yeah, and on that dumb joke, we'll wrap up this show. I don't even know where to go with this Giants team right now, man. Where I'm so incredibly frustrated. I'm just sitting here trying any dumb joke I can think of just to make myself laugh and make you guys laugh, because I think we need a little bit of laughter right now in our lives with this Giants team, because otherwise I would just beat my head into the wall. I don't really know what else I would do. That's all the time we got for you guys today. Giants fall 4-3 to the Miami Marlins out at Oracle Park. And I'm frustrated, disappointed, upset, and I'm tired of feeling this way after every single Giants game. That's all the time that we got for you guys today. We'll be coming to you live tomorrow as the Giants wrap up this series against the Marlins. I'm going to head out to the yard and I'm going to go get myself a Buster Posey Funko Pop. And that's really the only reason I'm going to go out to the yard tomorrow, because I can tell you what, I could care less about watching the Miami Marlins, playing a game. I just have no desire to see anybody on that team play baseball. And I'm not too far off from that with the Giants right now. I'm really not, man. It's a Logan Webb day tomorrow, so that'll be nice. Maybe the Giants can pick up a win. Webb day is usually win day for the Giants, especially at home. So maybe they come out with a win tomorrow and finish off this series with a 2-1 series victory. You would have liked to see the sweep over a team as bad as the Marlins, but Giants just aren't that good, man. Giants just aren't that good. That's all the time that we got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.